Okay, well, this is live. Live. Now, this is weird, though, because this is completely different than the way it's been usually done before. I apologize for the craziness. YouTube has recently changed their format of recording. Uh, there's Mom. Hey, good to see you. The Scotch for Dummies just ended the show, I believe, a little bit ago. And when I was setting up it, the format is completely different. So I guess it's working. I can see everybody's on the chat here, and I guess everything's normal. Audio okay, guys? Just give me a heads up. Yeah, Louis, good to see you as well, man. It's been a long time. Trooper Henry, good to see you. Everything I hope is good on the audio video. Going to be looking at a couple chorus here now. The first one I think we'll do is going to be the Speyburn 15. And this is from Speyside. And Speyburn is one of the distilleries that's run by the same company that handles Annock and Ball Blair and Old Pulteney. And it'd be interesting to get my hands on that one. I have seen a 25. It's a little pricey, but it might be worth pulling the trigger. I think I saw a bottle for like around, it's kind of like $250 though. It's a little high, but this one is much lower, and for a 15-year-old, it's a great price, I think. And as you can already tell, we've had a little bit of that, got past the neck pour, and the same as for this one, the Tamdhu batch strength, which kind of makes me mad that it didn't have and unfortunately a 10 for this. I don't know why. I think all of them were damaged or something from what the guys were telling me at the store. Gawkin, good to see you. Kenneth and everybody. Sounds audio okay. Everything's cool then. Well, let's take a little look here. Let me know what you guys are drinking, and if you've had either one of these before. I have been thankful enough to have the batch 2 at a tasting before, but that was it. And never had the Speyburn before. I think we'll start with that since it's a lower ABV, and the Tamdhu is going to have some sherry notes in it. The Speyburn is straightforward, more straightforward when it comes to just oak, but it does have European and American oak in it, both. So let's look at that one first. This guy came out in 2017. It looks like November. Single malt, 15 years, American and Spanish oak. Non-chill filtered, no coloring added. And you got an age statement, so you're pretty much crossing all of Aquavite Roy's ABCD criteria that he likes to look at. So that's a big plus. It's and for a 15-year-old, it's nice color. It's not overly, either way. Not so dark that you're like, wow, that's obviously colored, and not so light to the point where you're like, wow, what in the world is in this? Really holds its shape well. Give it a little swirl, which it's going to be, I think, a good one. At least a medium mouth coat. I don't think it's going to be heavy per se, like a Kleinlich, but I think we're going to get something really nice. The nose is really great from the get-go. Lots of fruit, balanced well with sweetness. And the fruit is like mid-level. I'd say like your strawberry, raspberries. You can get some citrus in there, orange. Really nice deep florals too. Some honey and vanilla. Nice. It's not too bright. It's not too dark. It's a right smack dab in the middle, I'd say. It reminds me a bit of a Ball Blair. On the nose, at least, the 99 Ball Blair kind of has this aspect. to it, which is a good thing, not a bad thing. Really, really well done. Now let these air out for a bit. I usually give a minute per year, 15 minutes. Nothing better than finding a really nice new whiskey, new to me at least, that is not overly pricey. I think. Look at my notes here. If I remember correctly, my Speyburn. This guy in Maryland is pretty much a nice, just solid 69, 70 bucks. Under $100 for 15 years is a really nice price. They have the 25 for 250, but man, I've heard it's a good price on it. But I don't know. I might have to pull the trigger later down the road for a special occasion or something. It's kind of hard to go that high, but for 25-year-old, it's hard to find a really good price for that. That Enoch 24 was something similar price wise, and that was well worth it. Very good. Wow, busy. Mom's doing the dark chocolate tonight. Hope you're doing well, Mom. Haven't seen you in a while. Exhausted. Well, have fun. Cheers. Hope everything's going well for you. And I'm looking over at the comments on this side here. Lee G, good to see you, man. Yeah, I've been having some issues. I'll have to give you a call or give me a call sometime and chat about maybe doing something down the road for maybe a whiskey tasting of some sort. I think you guys talked about March. That was a bit maybe soon for me. I might be able to do something a little later down the road, or June maybe it was, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to. That's going to be an iffy. But good to see you, Mose and Moose. What are you guys drinking? I missed. I think someone said a Tomatin 12. That's Kenneth. That's pretty good. Yeah, this is a cast strength batch number 2. It's 58.5. Now we're still in the Speyburn 15. Really nice palate. This one's only in the 46%, but hell of a lot better than 40 or 43. And what I like about the palate is, even though it's American and Spanish oak, it's not one of those that like hits you in the face with woody notes. I'm a huge fan of Lefroy. The Lefroy Triple Wood is a little bit woody in nature for me. I prefer a little. Any of the other ones, pretty much, but that one. That's or the Select. I'm not a big fan of, but yeah. Even though it's got those two. It's got a little bit of I mean, this is not peated, I don't think, but it's got what is the word for it? It's got a lot of maritime notes that is reminiscent of an Old Pulteney. It's got a lot of good seashell savory stuff going on, maritime briny notes, the salt. But I mean, it still has the fruit and the vanilla cream. It's creamier on the palate than just straightforward vanilla on the nose. A little bit of that dankness from the age too. Not overly, not heavy on leather like a Springbank or anything, but a nice clean taste. I'm thinking it's it's not overly dry, but it's not trying to think if if I would give it a medium or I think I'm going to go with medium mouth coat. Definitely not light. It's got a little nice oiliness to it. It's got a little bit of a truffle kind of a taste going on too in the back. Not bad truffle, good kind of truffly note. It almost gets it's so savory. It's almost like a really nice mushroom, but it's hard to explain. I think truffle is probably the best word to use. Nice and complex. If it had a little bit of a peat on it, would it make it a little better? Possibly, but it doesn't have to have it. A little sherry maybe might give it a little boost, but does it really need it? Not particularly, but I'm just trying to find what are things that if I was the maker, what would I do to make it even better? Between those two things, though, that's the only thing I could think of. The taste doesn't. I don't feel like I'm missing really anything other than. This finish is present, medium length. It's a nice butterscotch. Has that kind of Werther's Original kind of ending to it. It lingers a bit. Creamy, buttery, but I don't know. I do feel like there's something about it that could be better, but for 60, $70, it's way up on the scale, I think, for a 15-year-old Scotch. It's definitely fits Speyside to a. I mean, it's there's no mistaking that that's what it is. All those characteristics are with it. So I'm very happy about the purchase. I'm thinking that yeah, either sherry maybe or peat might make it a little more interesting. That said, though, I think we got a solid 4 out of 5 on a 5.25 increment scale. Definitely well above average. It's not going to blow your socks off per se. I mean, if it was a cast strength version or had the peat or had the sherry, it might be 4.5 worthy, 4.75. But I think that's the only thing I could really, I don't want to say knock it, but so-called knock it for. Solid ball. If you see it, I would snag the 15 definitely in a heartbeat. I have not had their 12 before, so I can't speak to if it's near as good, but I'd be surprised if it wasn't, a really nice version of a 12-year-old Scotch by any distillery. So that said, I think it'd be worth definitely the 15 is definitely worth a look, I'd say. But there we go. Anybody else had the Speyburn 15 and liked it or did not like it? I'm just curious if you guys have had it or not already. Sorry about the sliding issue. The that's a little better. The hey ahoy, everyone! Good to see you. What the hell are you doing down there in New Orleans, man? That's quite a trip. You're lucky. I'd love to go back down there. I was down there for when the Ravens won the Super Bowl a few years ago. And it's been longer than a few years now, I guess, but it feels like it's been a few years ago. It had great food. Love to get back down there. Let's see. Just trying to scan a little bit of the comments here. Yeah, I would start looking for the 15. Most had the 10, and it was all honey and lemon. Yeah, this thankfully has a lot more of a spectrum of fruit. You get a lot of your mid-level berries, like your strawberry, raspberry, pomegranates, kind of maybe a cranberry, those kinds of fruits. I think that are make it more complex. You also get that savory note I was talking about. It's like a sourdough, like a truffle, mushroom kind of a thing. Not off-putting by any means. I just got a lot more. I think of a well-rounded feel from it. And if they have a 10 and if they have a 12, the 12 might be maybe a better starting point. I'm not sure if you enjoyed the 10 or if it was just, but most 10s I've ever had, I've never been blown away by a 10 unless it was an Isla. Like the Ardbeg 10's pretty good. I wasn't really blown away by that either. Lefroy 10, Springbank 10, those, yeah, I mean, those are solid. But any of the Highland slash Bayside stuff that are 10, other than maybe the Ben Reich 10, I can't think of a lot of, like the Glengoyne 10 did not do a lot for me at all. The Glen Grant 10 did not do much for me at all. The Glenmorangie 10 definitely did not do much for me. I really actually did not like it so much that I was afraid to have any of the Glenmorangies. I'm glad I took the leap, and because I love the La Santa, the Quinta Rabanne, the Nut Noir, and all Signet, and all the other offerings, the Toussaint. But the basic 10 just is just too basic. That's the problem. Hey Scott, thanks for stopping by, man. Scott, have you already had this Speyburn 15 by chance? I'm just curious. It's definitely worth a look if you guys have not looked at it. You and Bart should take a look. I don't know if Bart would appreciate it as much if he doesn't get into space sides, but if you do enjoy a nice fruity, sweet space side that's got complexity and savory notes to it, I think you'll be in for a treat. And 60, 70 bucks where you guys are in Wichita, man, you could probably find it for even cheaper, probably 50 bucks there, I imagine, with a good distributor. So it's definitely worth a look. Now, Scott, I know you guys have had the Tamdhu batch 2 probably already. There's a batch 1, 2, and 3. I think they're about to do a 4. Don't quote me on it. I've had all 3. I've only done a review officially of the first one. And this is going to be number 2. I have had 3. I think 2 might actually be my favorite, but we'll take another look. I have had batch 1 and 2 of the Tamdhu, but not the third one. Okay, yeah, this is number 2. So we'll be looking at that in a second. But the 3 was one I had to snag during a tasting of some sort. But like I said, definitely worth every penny of the Speyburn 15. Very well done. I give kudos to the guys that do. Is it Tybev that does Ball Blair and Old Pulteney and Speyburn and Enoch? I want to say it's Tybev, but I'm probably wrong. I think that's the name of the company that runs them now. Correct me if I'm not right. Everyone's got batch 1, but hasn't opened it yet. Oh, dude, you're in for a treat. Now let's talk about this guy. So let me get rid of the Speyburn 15 information. Let's go over to batch number 2 of the absolute glorious dram that is the Tamdhu batch strength, the cast strength. This is 58.5, number 2. It's exclusively matured in sherry casks. And there's just no mistaking this distillery. It's always good. Let's have a little bit of a cleanser. Let's see. Find my chip here. Have a little chip cleanse. Yeah, so many whiskeys, so little time, Moose. It's true. Now, you guys will notice I'm going to make some changes back here. Brought my Kilkerran stuff over this way. And basically, I'm going to be doing one bottle of every distillery. Most of them are on this side where you guys can't see them, unfortunately. But I'm still going to keep my stuff. I'm not going to throw it away or anything by any means. But I might redo some of this so there's a lot more representation of different distilleries overall across the board. And every once in a while, I might bring out the old Ardbeg collection or bring out the Lefroy collection. But it'd be nice to have one of each of every distillery in here at some point. So that's going to be the next little goal, I think. Lee said he had the Tamdhu Ambar travel retail exclusive from the UK sherry bomb with some heat. Good stuff. That sounds good. I tell you what, man, that Debilia dram that Paul, our friend, generously Paul is what he goes by as distiller. We were looking at different things. I think it might have been one of his bonus bottles. And what a bonus it was! It's called the Debilia dram from Tamdhu, and it was extremely spicy, extremely hot. But if you and Lee will yeah, it's amazing. It's true. He'll hate me for it, but if you put just a little drop of a Iska on it, it makes it perfect. It's a 5-star whiskey, bar none, no questions asked. Yeah, the Callan cast strength. I bet. I can imagine how good that is. So anyway, let's have a little thing neat here. Lee will appreciate going in neat first. That's for sure. Great color. And I don't think this is. Yeah, there's no additives, non-chill filtered. Exclusively in sherry oak casks, ex-sherry oak casks to be specific. But with color like that, what are you gonna say? You can't really bitch about that, I don't think. This is I'm gonna send a case of this to Lee. A case. Earmuffs. Oh my. What's great about a Tamdhu to me is I can get the spice from the nose like in 2 seconds. It's just like pow, cinnamon. Oh, even some nutmeg, and it's all Christmassy. Oh my. I mean, dig deep enough, you get some figgy good notes. The fruits come in, some ginger. You can sense the power from it just by the nose alone. It's just absolutely awesome. Aquaculture, there you go. I'm about to enlist Lee in some sort of aquaculture class. That'd be awesome. Yeah, the bottle is cool. I mean, it's tight. I just wish that the damn case came with it. How you gonna sell me a bottle? This is like $100 bottle of freaking scotch. How you gonna sell me a bottle without a damn tin? It's just wrong. If you don't want your tin, everyone, can I have it? I like to keep them, and when I don't have one, I mean, I'm eventually probably gonna get another bottle of this stuff, but I like to have a freaking tin for batch 2 if I can get it. If not, I'll take whatever I can get. I've tried water before, but it doesn't work unless you have a dropper. Yeah, that's true. It does make magic. I'm telling you. See, Lee, what you're missing out on. We're gonna go. We're gonna go neat. All right. More notes on the. Let's do some nose notes. Hold on. Yeah, I talked about the fruit and the cinnamon. There's some black pepper in there and some peanuts. Mmm. Oh my. You get this like really good rush of like chocolate and hazelnut. And the weird thing about this, which I love, and it's probably just my palate, but I also get this like really good rush of like Coca-Cola flavor with it. I can't explain why. I also get the same experience from a Glen Scotia 15, not maybe as powerful because it's not cast strength like this, but it's got that kind of flavor profile to it. I love it. It's got some savoriness to it, not as much I think as the Speyburn, but because the spice and some of that is just so intense. But You get a little bit of a biscuity note in there too. Let's have a little drop and see. Because it is 56 point, I mean, this stuff is not like, 48. It can handle a couple of drops. Not going to kill you. Couple drops. Dab will do you. You know what? I know what the problem is. I'm showing this thing on the top here. I should have been showing this on the bottom so I can actually look at the damn camera and see what's going on. That's much better. Sorry about that, guys. Since they changed the entire YouTube profile of how these things are presented, I have to completely relearn and redo how I do these live videos. It's crazy, and they just did it this time, so now we know what to expect at least. If the distillery intended for water to be used, they'd have added it before they shipped it. No, not necessarily. That's not true. Even the master distillers will put a lot of water. I don't like a lot of water in mine, like some people do, but the master distillers will take it down to like 40, 50%. Between 40 and 50%. They think that is the drinking, level. What I typically like is 48 to 50 is my sweet spot. If it's like this, a 58.5, a couple drops, that's, it might still be 55 or 56, but, that's fine with me. I don't believe you, Telex. You better believe, get on board, my friends. This trains are rolling. Lee, you got to get your ass over here because I still have an unopened bottle of Lagavulin 18 Fischel and an unopened bottle of Lafroig 18 with your name on it. And I'm not just going to fucking open those just for the hell of it. Someone that can appreciate that has got to be around and enjoy it. So you should partake at some point. Tamdhu is a distillery I want to try. Tamdhu is pronounced Tamdhu. Oh, in Gaelic says the DH combo is silent. So Tamdhu. Oh, interesting. Okay, Tamdhu. I think, yeah, that's. I wonder if there's any difference between the Irish Gaelic and the Scottish Gaelic on that one, but have to see. Watch Ralphie puts a lot of water. Yeah, that's true. I don't know, man. I think he almost puts a little too much even for me. No offense to Ralphie, he's like the king, but you know what I'm saying. I don't get the spoons out. I might get a little dropper out, put a couple of drops, but I'm not gonna go crazy. If I show up, we're opening them all. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We might have to have our own little mini expo or something. I don't know. Oh, it's good, Trooper. Yeah, the 18 is. I got lucky. I found this place in Maryland that had two dusty bottles for $90 a piece, and let's just say that I jumped all over that. I was like, I'll take those two right now, no questions asked. Pop, brought them home. Pop, opened one bottle, enjoyed it. Had a friend named Tosh come by. Tosh, you probably ran into him on occasion. He runs a Japanese ramen, the beverage program here in DC for a couple of restaurants, and he came by, enjoyed it, said it was his favorite among all. I mean, I was open up everything, and it was probably his favorite. And pretty much same here. I'm next to the Anquamar, which I've been enjoying too. I have a little bit of that Anquamar left, by the way. Lee, I think you already have that one, but it's one of my other favorites. It's yeah, dusty bottle hunting, man, is something I live for. I love doing it. Anyway, let's get back. Let me finish this out so we can chat. Still a glorious nose. The water doesn't take anything away from anything when it comes to this dram. And I think that's why it holds up so well to a couple drops. It's still just as spicy, just as sweet, just as blend, like perfectly. I won't say blended, but mixed. It's smooth as glass going down. And that spicy goodness, it's like it's a lot. It reminds me a lot of the Ablauer Abana in a way. It's very similar. I think I might like this a little bit better though. This one has consistent batches. I've had a few batch twos and batch ones, and I've never been disappointed like I've had with the Abelauer Abana. I've had a great batch of that, and I've had not such a good one, and I've had a kind of really mediocre one with that. So, unfortunately with that deal, you know, you never know. But Trooper says we got lucky on the 18, just got lucky on the. Yeah, see, I need a 15. Oh, yeah, $77 for two. Oh, two each. We saw one for like $100. That'd be awesome, man. I gotta get my hands on the 15. That's one. It's the only Lefroy bottle I don't think I have is the 15. I need the 1818. I've had the Four Oak. I need to get a bottle of it. It's not a big deal really. But the 1818 or 1815, I forgot the year on it. 1815 probably, and the and that 15. Those are the two that I really need to complete somewhat of a collection, minus the carriages that Lee has that I need to get. Yeah, the 1815. Oh, avoided. Wow, that sucks, man. What's wrong with it? I'm curious. Because that was on my radar. I love the Uncle Mar. So I was hoping that the 1815 would be up there. The Four Oak is kind of it's a nice expression, but it's nothing to get all excited about, unfortunately. Worst Lafroig I've ever had. Wow. It was even worse than the Select? Because the Select is pretty bad, you have to admit. I'm not too big on the triple wood, but everything else is perfect, pretty much. What was it about it that you didn't like? A Four Oak would have been better. Wow, with a higher ABV. Okay. So is the ABV that low on it? Hmm. Lot 40. CS. Lot 40. From what distillery? Lot 40. I don't know about anything about the lot 40. Four Oak is 40. Wow. It's like this better than an 1815. That's saying a lot, man. Oh, a Canadian rye. Never mind. Then that's not my wheelhouse at all. Sorry, guys. Um. Wow, the 1815 is that bad. I might have to just get the bottle then. Do you still have your bottle, Lee? If you still have it, could you send it or bring it with you? And the box. Don't throw away the boxes. I like the box, the tin, and the bottle if I can get it. If you don't, it's okay. But eventually I might have to try it, even though I know it's not like great. Maybe I could find it cheap somewhere if I'm lucky. I killed it, but I may have a sample left. Huh. I love the Lafroy 10 cast strength Moe's. It's a great deal typically too. 50, $60, I think, maybe 70 on the high end. And a cast strength Lafroy 10, it's almost too perfect. Um, I like it the best out of everything except the lure. I think I might like a little bit more because of the sherry, but the quarter cask is nothing to sneeze at too. I do like the quarter cask, but it's not as definitely as high ABV as the cast strength 10, which gives it's got that peaty boost and it's got the power. I mean, that's a hard bottle to really beat. It's great juice. Moose is right. Mose. I got a moose and I got a Mose. That's funny. Mm. Highly, 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 highly recommended. Um, this is a 4.75 out of 5, guys. I can hardly ding it. There's hardly anything I could find other than age is the only thing that I think would make this even a better whiskey. Where's the sweet spot? Is it 15 years, 18 years? Probably around there, I'm guessing. There have been better, 23, 25-year-old stuff. But so far, I mean, other than Macallan, I mean, Lee had a great 21 Fine Oak that we tried. But it's hard for me to find a really, really high aged one that I really fell in love with as much as some of the 18s that I think is a really nice year on a lot of distilleries. But I would love to see an aged version of this. But basically, it does lean on the sweeter end of things. I mean, it's got a lot of woody notes and vanilla in the finish. It's long. Um, this is a little thicker than the other mouth coat, so I'd say this is medium to heavy, which I like. You can play around with water if you want. You don't have to. It's a easy sip either way. Oh my, yeah. I think it's definitely one to always have at least a batch. It can be one, two, three. If they have a four coming out soon, I would definitely try it because one, two, and three have all been good. And don't quote me, but I think two might actually be better than one. I can't remember three to really say yet. Um, I'll do a review on that if I can get my hands on my own bottle of it before it's discontinued. But that's the plan. The PX Lafroig is delicious. So is Uncle Mar. Yeah, Lee is right. Those two are some of my favorites up here. And the QA cask, if you don't mind some sweet vanilla, it's very vanilla forward. Uh, and it's got that European oak deal going on. But the QA cask, I thought that was pretty good. Some people don't like it. If you're not into, a very vanilla-y taste, might not like it as much. But I liked it with the peat, with the heavy peat. I thought it was pretty decent. Did I like it as much as the PX cast? Probably not, though. I'll admit that. It's definitely not as good as maybe as the Uncle Mar PX cast, but it can hang, I think, with the quarter and the 10 cask strength and the 10 kind of thing. So, and some of the carriages too. I bet he was trying to find an Uncle Mar and he got the PX cask instead. Not much of a hardship there, actually, if you think about it. That's funny, but yeah, I mean, either you're not going to suffer either way. If you can get the Anklemore, if you like peanut brittle and cashews, that kind of thing, then I would jump all over the Anklemore when you can get it. Thanks so much, Loch Ness, for stopping by and hanging out with us. I really appreciate it. Give me a thumbs up before you leave. If you had fun, I appreciate it as well. If you got a second. Yeah, Lee's he's just a master. He's got access to more drams than anyone I think I know, pretty much. Is this comparable to the Glengoyne cast strength and the Glendronach cast strength? Oh, wow. Okay, good questions. Okay, so I did have the Glengoyne cast strength at Tosh's restaurant recently. It's good. The reason I like the Tamdhu slightly better, and I would give the Glengoyne cast strength probably like a 4.5, and this a 4.75 because the mouth coat, it's always thinner on a Glengoyne. I'm not sure why that is. You know, it's just the nature of what they do. And some people like a thinner. They don't like an oily kind of a base, and that's fine. That's cool. I do like the heavier one, so I'm gonna go with the Tamdhu on that over the Glengoyne cast strength. Now, if you offered me the Glengoyne cast strength, am I gonna turn it down? Hell no. I'm gonna drink that sucker faster than you've ever seen. Thanks so much, Trooper, for stopping by as well. So with that said, the Glendronach cast strength, I've had the number 7 batch recently. It's good, but I have to say, I think it's like in between. I think the Tamdhu is number 1. The Glendronach cast strength would be number 2, and the Glengoyne cast strength would be number 3. Only because, though, of the mouth coat difference with that Glengoyne being thin, to me, my personal feeling. The flavor on the Glendronach cast strength is great. The finish was a little bit more drier and shorter than the others that I remember, but I did like the mouth coat a bit more. So it's that's why I'm kind of giving that a second place. But this guy I think is a first place when it comes to the cast strength. But between the ones that you mentioned there most, if I had to say, my own take on it. If we send you booze, will you chug it? That sounds like fun video to watch. Are you asking me, DHS? Oh, my chug. It depends on what it is. If it's something I like, I'll probably do it. If you send me some Scotch Blue Special nonsense, I'll probably be like, hell no. A more oily CS really works better because they help the mouthfeel. Yeah, haven't had the GGCS Glengoyne. Glendronach CS varies so widely from batch to batch. I would quit chasing them. Good, but too varied. And yeah, and that's another thing that Lee brought up a perfect point on between Tamdhu, Glengoyne, and Glendronach. The Glendronach has the most inconsistent batches overall. I will agree with that because I've heard mixed reactions, even to the new version of 7 that just came out this year, which is the one that I tried. You said you're gonna chug that CS Glengoyne. I did. Well, if I had a bottle of it, I would. If last time I had it was at the ramen bar, Japanese restaurant in DC with Taj. So that'll have to wait till I can get. If you send me a bottle of cast strength and you want me to chug some of it, I'll definitely give it a good go. Tamdhu really nails down their batch strength. Batches 1 through, yeah, Lee's perfect. He's dead on. Overall consistency, Tamdhu's number 1, Glengoyne's number 2, Glendronach's number 3. I'd say out of the consistent method, and Abelauer is one of those that are on the lower end of the consistencies too, because the Abana, some of them I've loved, some of them I've been okay with, and some of them I'm kind of like, man, not into as much. So that does make a huge difference if you're think about drinking, then it's just crystal clear. It's called Everclear. Wow. Oh my, someone's been going off the rails on the side there. He's having a complete train derailment. Anyway, let's have some more Tamdhu though. Yeah, this is solid, man. I wish to God I had that dram, that bottle that Paul had at the Billy dram, man. I would love to have a big fat can of that. Put that sucker on the display. That would look badass. I had to get my own version of that somehow. Oh my! I'm happy with what I got though, but still, I can still want. Let's have a little more of the old bass strength here, and we'll have Lee cover his eyes for a quick moment. Just a little bit of a side drop, and go with that. What's the debility worth to you? I have 2 bottles. Holy moly. Okay, let's take a quick look here. I gotta see something. And what's Scott sipping? I know Scott's still kind of hanging with us here. Let's look it up. We got Tamdhu, or Temu, as Gawkin put it earlier. The Tamdhu Dalbilia. I can't freaking type with the thing, but at least, ooh, okay, we got that online shop. Yes, I'm of age. I'll take one. Oh, it's out of stock. Those bastards. Okay, so retail is 90 pounds. I'm sure that's not going to be the same thing. Let's see. Average value. Wow, okay. 62.1%. Wow, okay. I'll tell you what, man. Let's see. Let's look at an auction here I just found. It sold recently. Let's say 130 pounds, which would be what? 130 pounds to USD. 172. Wow, that's high. 172 sounds a bit high. If it was, what was it, 80, 90 pounds at, what's 90 pounds to that? I cannot tie it tonight. 90 pounds to USD. 120. So originally it was 120, and now it's selling around what was it, 170? Oh my. $32 USD pounds. I'd say 170. I think it would be what it would be worth to go, but multitasking, not actually drinking anything yet. Scott, what the hell's wrong with you, man? We got to get this. Do you have a Balvenie tune you can open up? I'll tell you what, man. I'll be honest with you, Scott. I don't know if it was just me or what, but I have fought my way through the expo when Balvenie was there, and they had the Balvenie tune. I was one of the last people to get my hands on a sip of it before they ran out of it. It was the 1504, I think was the number set on it. I was completely underwhelmed, and I like Balvenie's like 17 Doublewood. I love their Caribbean Cask 14. I like a lot of their stuff, but when I tasted the Balvenie, the tune, the 1504, I was like, $300 or $400 for this? I just don't know. I just didn't see it. Am I losing my mind, or did you guys like it as much? I'm just curious. And it's individually numbered, limited to 1,000 total bottles on the. That's yeah. I think I still go 170-ish, Lee, on that bottle for now. That's not bad. Probably not what you wanted to hear, but I think it's a fair price to take a look at that. Or maybe a little bring it along and have a sip of that while we sip other stuff here, kind of thing. Scott says 1509 batch 3 has been the best. Older whiskey and 50 some percent ABV, huh? I don't know. I think maybe it was 1509. Maybe that was what the number was. I'll have to look. Let me see. Was it 15 something? 1504 is what I thought it was, but maybe it was something different. Balvenie tune. 1509. No, that was definitely the one. 1509, and it was a newer version. It wasn't 1, 2, 3. It must have been 4. Yeah, I think it was number 4. That sounds correct. I'd have to go back and look, but it's the weird thing is it says 51.7, man, but maybe since it was the tail end of the bottle, it just didn't have the same effect, or God forbid that they added water to it to make it last longer or something crazy. Because what happened was, this is what pisses me off about some of these expos. You go and you spend $350 to get a ticket to this damn place. Not even counting your hotel and all this other shit that you got to put up with to get in there. You finally get in there, then you got to put up with everybody and their mom trying to get lined up and get their coats checked in and all that nonsense. And they take a half hour to do anything at these places. You finally get in, you get to, you're smart enough to know not to do your heavily peated stuff or even your heavily sherry stuff right away. You hit the middle of the road Highland, Speyside stuff first for your palate. Balvenie is a good place, to even start. It wasn't like later in the evening. It wasn't late at all. It was early, and they ran out of the Balvenie tune, and that's the only VIP freaking bottle they had. And I think I had like the very smidgen tail end of it, and I was so pissed. It was so underwhelming. I don't know. Maybe it was just not my taste, that particular deal. But I'll try not to tune it sometime. But man, I gotta be picky on spending money on it. I'm gonna try to get me another sample somehow of a tune and see if it's any good. I've only had the batch 2 and 3, and the 3 blew 2 out of the water. Wow. Yeah, the DC was a big bust. It was. I mean, they're all kind of got their issues with that kind of stuff. Yeah, it really did suck, and it wasn't the only one that ran out of the juice. Like I went to Brooklady, and I wanted to try the new Black Arts 6 that they just released. They ran out of that. I'm like, how do you run out of stuff where people are spending extra money to get a chance to taste it within the first freaking hour? And within that hour, you don't even have enough to give people. It makes absolutely zero sense. And that's why I will never, ever go to another one of those whiskey fest deals. After I went to DC and New York, I've had my feel. And if unless someone wants to make a huge change the way they do stuff, especially the brand ambassadors and people that bring their stuff there, I'll listen. But the way it's been going, it's rough, man. It's just not worth it. One of the salty the Lefroy grab after advertising the 25, 27, and 30, and showed up with 27 and the 40. Yeah, exactly. And that was just in DC. And then when this happened, this Balvenie tune shit happened in New York, and I'm like, of all places, I can understand if you do this kind of stuff like in the Midwest or Idaho. But if you're in freaking New York City, you bring your best and you bring a lot of it. When people are spending this kind of money just to get a sip of something, you might get 32 pours, but we're talking 32 pours about that much. We're talking like less than a fourth of an ounce. If you do that to people, they're not going to ever spend $350 to go to your expo ever again. It's just nuts. Yeah, when it drops, they will bring all their best stuff. Yeah, that's true. Well, guys, I think it's time to wrap her up here. The Tamdhu, though, like Lee said, it's true. Batch 1, batch 2, and batch 3 are just phenomenal. They're consistent. I can't say enough good things about these guys, really, especially when you're comparing it to Glendronach, which is a hell of a brand, but the consistency is not there. And you've got Glengoyne, which it's consistent, but it's consistently thin on a mouth coat. And, this is where it's at. This is what you want, I think, if you have the same kind of palate that we do. And there you go. Everyone says pretty happy about the live in DC. The cost is much less. Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. I think $100, $150 is a lot. It's a hell of a lot more reasonable than $350, $400 in some of these places. And it's uh, it's just nuts. It's all about the money, I know, but still, I mean, if you want people to come back, I mean, that's what I'm surprised that once you've been bitten once, shame on me if I'm, fooled more than twice. It's just once, so I understand. I might give them another shot, but when I went to New York and had that happen, I'm like, I'm done with the whole festival thing. It's just not worth it. If I have some friends like you guys that are out and about and want to have a dram and meet up and pick a city that's it's close to a lot of people and have a little get together for a day or two, that would be awesome because you'd have a hell of a better time than you will. Like if everyone brought 2 or 3 bottles of something, it doesn't have to be expensive, just something different off the wall, something that a lot of people haven't even heard of before. Bring in 2 or 3 different distilleries. Everyone gets to try, a boatload of things because everyone's bringing 2 or 3 bottles. That's like the perfect way to do it, I think. Least all 3 Tamdhu batch strengths are worth the money. Yeah, if you can get them for retail, 85.95. Yeah, luckily I was able to get this for about 90, I think it was. And for cask strength whiskey, after taxes that they impose on imports that are cask strength, because they tax this stuff based on ABV when it comes to America, you're getting a hell of a deal. This, I mean, honestly, if this had the name Macallan on it, or if it had the name what's another Dalmore, this would be selling for 200, 250, no questions asked. I guarantee, goddamn to you, it would be 250. But the only reason why Tamdhu does not sell for over $100 for this is because they're just not as well known. And I guarantee you, after people get the word and it's spread on how good and consistent they are on their drams, it's going to sell like hotcakes, and there will be a name that's like ding, that's the one I want. So there you go. Thanks so much, Scott from the Scotch Test Dummies, for stopping by. I really appreciate the support when you guys are able to hang in. And please check out Scotch Test Dummies site. They do a hell of a job on reviews. They review so much stuff I can't even keep up with them. They also not just do Scotch; they do bourbons and all sorts of stuff. And I try to stick to the Scotch because it's just what I like. But if you're looking for outside the box, they are a really good a really good area to go to, and they're always funny. Scott and Bart are awesome. It's funny because they kind of play off each other's tastes. Scott started kind of more in the sherry space side kind of area and grew to like appreciate the peat. And Bart, I think, was the exact opposite. Started off in Isla, like that's more like my thing, but grew into appreciating a lot of the sherries and the space sides and stuff like that. So um, always good to get lots of input from all of the people that do reviews. So just because I like something doesn't mean they're gonna not, they're gonna like it as much or even at all. But if you do get 2 or 3 of us that are like, this is one to take a look at, then I definitely guarantee you that you're not going to go wrong either way. Thanks so much, Lee G, for stopping by, my friend. You're going to have to give me a call sometime. Text me when you're not working, and I'll give you a call or whatever, and we can hopefully hook up something. And Scott, I wish you were closer to DC. I would let's get together and have some bottle swaps, but Wichita is a bit of a plane ride, my friend. But someday we'll figure out some way to make it happen. Hopefully, I wish I got a chance to come to the DemiCon that you guys did in Kansas, but I'll have to figure out something logistically on getting out there and hanging with you guys at some point. We'll figure out something. Maybe if I can just find a time and just go and do it. You guys will be one of you guys will be available to like at least hang out for a day or something. That'd be awesome. Mm, mm. But yeah, both very good. I think I gave this one a 4, solid 4 out of 5, 4.75 out of 5. Very, very well done. Age is the only thing that will help that guy, and it's not even necessary. Well, Salanchava, guys, and yeah, we'll start traveling around. Yeah, same here. I have to get out and do something. It's oh, thanks a lot, Moose. Thanks for the thumbs up. Yeah, give me a thumbs up before you guys take off. I really appreciate your time, and hopefully we'll have another show here. Always like to try to do one before next Thursday, but I got to pick up a couple more bottles. And interestingly enough, I'm not quite sure. Let's take a look at the list here. The next ones, I need to do an Aaron, Arran. I need to do a Bundromic. I have my eye on the Imperial Proof. Imperial Proof is a really good bottle. I might do that one. The Blennock, the Kleinleash. I'm holding out on the Game of Thrones bottle, but I'm not sure if I'll ever find one. If I don't, I'll just get up to 14. That's a solid, great bottle. Dalmore, the 18 is what I'd love to do. It's a little pricey, though, so I'm kind of holding out. Glencaddam, Glengarry, Glenmora, Ajura, Loch Lomond, Royal Brocla, Scapa, I think it's Strathisla, something like that. Timmentool, and a Wolfburn. That's on my like short to-do list. And then we got to get into like some of the more interesting ordering deals. We're going to take a look at Glenkinvie, Avondure, Elsa Bay, Altaban, Ardmore, Othrosk, Altmore, Balmanook, Benrinus, Breville. And some of these I'll have to be very crafty to find a distillery bottle, because I've had a lot of these in independent offerings before, but I want to go to the real juice from the core and get the distillery bottle and do a review on the distillery bottle. I don't care if it's 10 or 12 years and that's just what all they have. That's what we're going to do, because I've just noticed that sometimes you'll get into these independent bottlings and they have a lot to do whether or not it's going to be a good or bad experience, and it's not the distillery's fault sometimes. So that will be part of it. But there's still a lot on the schedule, as you can see. But that's my my game plan for right now. And thanks a lot for stopping by, Most. Always good to see you. Yeah, maybe an Aaron. That's definitely one of my to do. They have a Smuggler Series 2 and a 3, and the guy that I usually deal with is a pro. He's definitely trying to get me to go with the Smuggler 2 or the 3. I'm thinking of going just classic 16. Most, do you have a preference? If you were going to see a review, would you rather see one on an Aaron 16, or like a Smuggler Series 2 or 3 special kind of a bottling? Because I can do either one. Maybe end up doing both over time, but the first one, I'm thinking of maybe just going classic. But the only issue is if I don't pull the trigger on the 2 or the 3, I might not see them ever again. They run about 150-ish, I think. Let me see, actually. And the funny thing is, they go by the Aaron on their list there, so you have to really look. Yeah, 150 is what the bottles run on there. If you're still around, I would like to see something from the Smuggler Series. Do you have a preference between 2 or 3? Because they have both. Let me see if I can see which one is which here. 1 second. I like to use this distiller.com has a really good database on So if I just do Erwin and Smuggler, it should narrow it down where I've got the one, which they don't have one, unfortunately. They had the high C's or the excisemen. So the high C's is a 55.4 rum cask. That's interesting. Or they have the excisemen, which is the 56.8 ex Madeira quarter casks. I'm wondering which one of these would be better. Looks like 8,700 bottles available in 2017 of the 3. Let's see, the 2 is more rare. It doesn't have a bottle number. Rum cask sounds kind of good. Damn. Taste looked pretty good. Looks like Lee actually had it. He says a special cast strength release. Very cool presentation. He likes it. He gave it a 4 out of 5. That's pretty solid. Let's see what we get. Another guy like Rick gave it a 4 out of 5. Let's see the other one. The Exciseman 5 tastes. They're all pretty high. 4 to 5s typically. So it looks like the series is just good, but it's like, what do you want to do? I'm thinking I might do, just because of the rarity, I might not be able to find it again. Maybe I'll do the 2. It's a tough one. I remember seeing a Devil's Cast several years ago and didn't know anything about it, so I didn't buy it. Wish I would have. Yeah, I've heard it. I think I've heard it. Well, I've heard of that with a Bowmore having a Devil's Cast. But let me see about. I just lost my page. 1 second. Here we go. Sorry about that. Let's see. Distiller. Aaron Devil's Cask. That I've heard of the Bowmore one, but let's see what we got for this. Okay, the Devil's Punch Bowl, Chapter 2, Angels and Devils, and they got Chapter 1, and they got Chapter 3. So they have a 1, 2, and 3. The Fiendish Finale. Man, some of these names are just crazy. That is nuts. Do you remember if it was a Punch Bowl 1, 2, or 3 by chance there, Scott? Just curious. The 1 gets an 87. The 2 gets an 84, but the 3 gets a 95. That's pretty good. Wow. He doesn't know, but it's quite a range because they do their ratings like 1 out of 100 kind of a points like you guys do. And they give the first one an 87, the second one an 84, and the third one an 95, which is really high. And the funny thing is, the third one is the least expensive. It's $4 signs instead of $5 signs like the other ones are, probably because it's newer versus being older. So it sounds like they came in and went a little downhill, but then went a little uphill in their last release. That's so funny. And the weird thing is the first 2 are peated. This last one is not peated, which is really strange. Maybe they figured out that they shouldn't do the peated version anymore. Let me see what cask. It's French oak, ex-sherry, and ex-bourbon on that number 3. Huh. I don't think I saw the Devil's Punch Bowl version, though. That'd be cool, though, if I saw that. I don't think they had that one. The Smuggler series, I'm going to have to try that one just to see. All right. Well, thanks so much, guys, for stopping by. Sorry about the conclusion, extended ending there, but I wanted to see maybe what to do. But this gives me a good idea. I think we're going to do the Smuggler series and maybe do a number 2. It'll be a specialty. We can always do the 16 later on at some point. That's part of the fun. Sláinte Scott. Good to see you. Thanks for hanging out with me and everybody else, and hopefully see you before next Thursday, but if not, then definitely next Thursday. See ya.